welcome to the Windrush 70 segment, and that is sponsored by the Heritage Lottery Fund. I'm very, very pleased to have with us today Arthur Torrington, CBE, who's the founder of the Windrush Foundation and the Equiano Society. But obviously today we're talking about the Windrush 70, so welcome.
Thank you.
So much has happened since we were last speaking, so many things that you've been doing, and obviously politically so many things have been happening with the Windrush. So can you tell me what events have gone and and what was happening, what's been happening?
Well, firstly, let me just say that the Windrush Foundation had a funding from the lottery.
Yes.
To conduct a series of activities to do with Windrush, commemorating the 70th anniversary. So over the years we've been doing activities, we've been doing like workshops, presentations, and just about a month ago we had a presentation at the Lambeth Town Hall to do with Windrush 70 again, and that was to do also with the Black Police Association. Windrush worked with them. That was an important event. We had a number of officers from the Met, black officers, black sergeants, and so on. So we were
That was at Lambeth Town Hall?
Lambeth Town Hall,
okay,
yeah, there
yes.
in Brixton. So that was an important event which highlighted the contribution that the black police men and women are doing.
And you had Alan Wilmot there?
Well, yes, Alan Wilmot was important. He was the one who told us about his service in the Second World War. He returned to Jamaica. Then he came back again on the, well, he came on the Alamanzura. He came 6 months before the Windrush came. And he was explaining the significance of both ships, both Alamanzura, which was a troop ship, and then the Windrush ship that came in June 1948.
With his brother on board, of course.
Yes, that's right.
And you also had the Ansel Wong event?
Well, the Ansel Wong event was in April. Again, we looked at Ansel Wong, who is still, you know, an activist in London, one of our leading activists. In fact, he was on the program on Caribbean Gateway last year. I'm sure that some people should remember. And Ansel is very versatile, you know, in terms of what he was doing. A very humble man. And, you know, we always, you know, love to work with Ansel.
Yes.
But then what's coming up now, I must say, is some very important events. On the 19th of June, we have an event that remembers Sam King. Sam King, we see Sam King as the father of the Windrush generation.
Yes.
He was the one who kept names of the Windrush people who came on the ship, men and women. He sent them postcards. He was able to keep in touch with them. And then, you know, we had an event in 1998. But even before that, Sam King had an event in 1988 in Brixton, in Lambeth Town Hall, remembering the journey of the men and women who came in 1948. So Sam King has been versatile.
But he's also the founder of the Windrush Foundation as well.
Well, in 1996, you know, he asked me to get involved with him because he's a man, he's the Windrush man. I wasn't there, that was before my time. And eventually we founded two organizations, Windrush Foundation and the Equiano Society.
Yes.
And since then, 96, we've been working. We had a big event in 1998 where we featured some of the men and women who came on the Windrush.
So this is before anybody was talking about it, really, and even before it was well known. So you were doing the hard graft work.
We did the hard work. We certainly had to do the hard work. That was a time when nobody knew about Windrush apart from Sam and a few other people. But we had a hard job to make, you know, people
know about it.
You know, appreciate the contribution of the men and women who came, because after all, they laid the foundation for you and me who have come after, the foundation in the sense that they suffered, you know, the most outrageous racism. And people wanted to beat them up, but that wasn't the case. They were able to beat up other people, Teddy Boys and all the others.
So with Sam King, this event will be commemorating him, and that's being held where?
Well, the Sam King event is at St. Margaret's Church, Westminster Abbey. Now, it's interesting about those two churches. They're both on the Abbey. One is called Westminster Abbey, and the other one is called St. Margaret's Church.
Okay.
Now, St. Margaret's Church is a smaller church that can hold about 650 people.
Yes.
And we want to commemorate his life. We want to appreciate what he has done.
Yes.
So there'll be a number of people speaking. Lord Bourne, who is the Minister for Housing, Communities and Local Government, he'll be one of the speakers, paying tribute. We'll also have Lord Ousley, who will be talking as well and giving tributes to Sam, because Lord Ousley knew Sam when Lord Ousley was a young man in Southwark.
Yeah.
And Sam King was the first black mayor of Southwark, as you know. So that's an important event.
Yes.
And then your humble servant will be giving, you know, his talk about Sam King, and there'll also be a calypso by Alexander the Great,
yes,
and a reading by Dr. Michel Asantewa.
And you've got Baroness Florella Benjamin.
And I shouldn't forget Baroness Benjamin, otherwise she will certainly you know, give me trouble.
Yes.
She is chairing the event.
Fantastic.
Which we hope should be a very important event, remembering Sam King. And then on the 21st, we're going to be having an event in Lewisham called From Windrush to Lewisham.
Yes.
And that is remembering people like W. George Brown, who was on the Windrush, went to live in Lewisham, and made a tremendous contribution to the Lewisham people. So we're going to remember him, remember...
But anybody can apply, anybody can...
It's a free event.
Yes.
And so on. And then on Friday we have a grand, you know, a grand event at Westminster Abbey.
Yes.
With a number of churches get together in celebration.
Wow. Okay. And you mustn't forget the mayor's event that you're also
collaborating
with.
Otherwise I'll be in trouble. Yeah.
Yes.
The mayor's event is on the 30th, a free event at City Hall. Mayor Sadiq Khan is holding this event from 12 o'clock noon to 8 o'clock.
Okay.
A variety of speakers. There'll be 1 or 2 Windrush people there whom people can speak with. You're going to be having discussion, talk, Alan Wilmot, ex-serviceman, poetry, even cookery. Happening at the City Hall. So the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, is very, very willing to host such an important event. And now I shouldn't forget an important event, right, on the 28th, and it's remembering Rudy Narayan, an outstanding barrister. He has done so many great things in terms of he and another chap setting up the Black Lawyers Association and so on. And here is a man who lived and worked in Brixton, a very, very honourable barrister who has done so much, and we can't forget such a contribution by Rudy. Now, that event is going to be at Lambeth Town Hall on the 28th of June, a Thursday, at 7 o'clock.
So this is like, there's numerous events, but obviously they can go to the Windrush Foundation website, and obviously there's lots of exciting things happen, but obviously it would be amiss of me to not mention, obviously since the beginning of the year, obviously there's been a lot of talk about the Windrush, and obviously the Windrush Foundation is talking about the celebratory things about the Windrush, but there's all this other stuff that has not been discussed. So can you talk a little bit about that? So
you mean the Windrush generation?
Yes.
Yes, well, we have still have a big problem that the government unfortunately has brought upon itself by not recognizing that in 1970s there'll be people who came here as young people, British, and who now are, some of them are pensioners now.
Yes.
Some of them are grandparents now, but some of them have not really traveled back to the Caribbean or elsewhere, so they never had passports and so on. They worked for the NHS, they worked for London Transport, and contributed to building, rebuilding Britain after the war. And let me say this, Britain appealed to the Caribbean for help, to be rebuilt.
They invited them.
And that's important for people to know. And Britain was in a very bad state, you see. For example, Britain even had to borrow something like, I think, in today's term, £30 billion from America in the Marshall Plan to rebuild Britain.
Yes.
And the following month, after the Windrush came, you had the NHS and so on and so on. So the main thing now is that these people who have been, some of them are deported, some people have been imprisoned or in detention centres
Yes.
wrongfully.
Yes.
And in an interview with the new Home Secretary, he acknowledged that there were wrongs.
So the work that Sajid Javid is doing now in regards to the Windrush generation, are they going to compensate? Are they going to rectify it? And how long do you think that process is going to take?
Yes, he promised on that program that he was interviewed by, Andrew Marr. He promised that everybody will receive compensation in terms of whether they've lost their homes, whether they have lost their jobs, whether they're penniless or whatever. The main thing is that justice has to be seen to be done.
And that's the people who've also had to go back to the Caribbean.
They will eventually be given the traveling expenses or the flight to come back and be properly, reinstated as citizens of this country.
So if people know people who are in that circumstance and who've been treated so badly, incredibly badly, should they do? Should they go to their High Commission? What would be the process at the
Yes,
moment?
I think they go to the MPs, and I think I would ask them to go to the Black Cultural Archives in Brixton, at least initially. But yes, the MPs should be approached,
First protocol.
and eventually they'll be able to access whatever their Home Office is doing and having.
Oh, fantastic. Wonderful. So it's nice to know that something is actually being done.
It has to be done.
So I'm going to leave it there because I know it's good to have the updates of what's been happening because I know it's all culminating in June now because obviously that's the main date. So thank you very much for coming in and updating us of obviously all the things that have been happening in the past, all the things that are coming up, and hopefully people will be able to come to those events as well. And thank you again, Arthur, for coming in.
Thank you indeed. Thanks very much.
They said, listen to the streets that was paved with gold. They said it's a story that's never been told. Dreamt of the high, the touch, the low. It's given them a passion for time. But within their hearts they felt their souls in the streets that was paved with gold. The winter's here, the faces there, create the feeling of despair. The labor shortage after the Second World War led to the 1948 British Nationality Act being passed, which all persons